Okay, so what is a VS Code debugger and how to use it? So usually whenever we code, what we usually do is, let me do one thing. So I have a VS Code here, and what I have done is I've created a folder known as debugger, and now I have just created a file. So let's first understand what is a debugger, then we'll see how to use it. So imagine you are writing a code in which let's say you want to create a function with just square and a square some number. So let's say we create a function known as square and we take an input as a number. Okay, and then let's say what we have to do is we have to calculate the value, which is, let's say, number into number, and let's say we want to return this value. And yeah, so let's say we are calling this function. Let's say we have created a variable name as initial number, we have assigned it as 5, and let's say result we are actually calling square, and we are passing initial number, and then we are printing result. So let's say this is this is how you create a normal function, and you're creating a normal function. But often what we have to do is, while testing or when we want to know what is happening, what we do is we write logs like this. So let's say if I want to know what happened after print and what actually came as an input, the most common way is you add some prints and you run that file and you see that. So usually you see and you get the logs. In Python now what you can also do is you can create a formatted string in which you can also write like this, so that you can know which variable it is. So in this case, if I run this now, I'll get number equal to 5. So using this string manipulation or formatted strings, you can improve your logs a bit. But still the problem is when your code is, like in this case you can add print, you can still know. But if let's say your code is quite tricky, or let's say you have in some recursion functions or some complex code base, this more often will create more problems than solving the problem, because it will become too cluttered and you won't know from where the values are going, and then where the actual transaction is happening. So at this point the debugger comes into picture. So what happens is, in your VS Code you will see okay, if you don't see here a debugger menu which is like this, you will see it. If you don't see it, you can just search from here from your search panel. Otherwise you will have this triangular option, you can click on this. Now this is your debugger panel. So on the left side you can see these red dots. These are known as breakpoints. So what happens is, wherever you assign these red dots, okay, like I have assigned one here, and let's say I have assigned one here, these red dots signifies that your code, while executing, like how Python executes line by line, it interprets line by line. So with each line, as soon as it reaches a breakpoint, the code will be stopped there, and you can actually judge or check the whole situation on that point. If everything is fine, you can let the code pass. For example, if I run the same code in debugger, what I have to do is, I just start the debugger here, I add 2 breakpoints, and I click on run and debug. I have to select which type of file I am going with. If you are going with Django or Flask application, it's a bit different because it's a server, not a file. But right now we have a Python file, so we just go forward. As soon as you do that, you will see there are 3 main section, and then there are breakpoint sections. Let's go one by one. This is actually a variable. So as you can see, what happens as soon as the debugger starts, it starts executing from the top. And wherever you see this yellow line, that means this is the current place where your code is. Now, because I added the first breakpoint here, the code stopped here. So as you can see, there are no results on the terminal. It is stopped there. Now let's go one by one in each section. Okay, first starting from call stack. Call stack, as you know, every piece of code is maintained, or the calls are maintained using a call stack. So in the stack, each function calls are kept one on top of each other. So that's why it just shows call stack. If there were multiple functions, it would have become main.py inside that square.py, which it will become. Then this is watch. We'll come to this, but the next thing is variables. So what are actual variables? So in this variable, you will see 2, local and global. Global variable is like the whole, if there are any, global level variables which are there, like say your function names or any Python level variables, or if you are in class, any class level variables. And then this is local variables. This is mostly what you will use. So what it does is, wherever you have stopped, at that point it will let you judge or check all the variables. As you can see here, the script is here. The only variable which is there is initial number, and it says 5. I can also check it via hovering on any variable and I'll see 5. Okay, now what is watch? In watch you can actually add any expression or number. For example, I say number equal 5. So what I have done is, I've said I have added an expression. Now it says name error, number is not defined because number right now doesn't exist. Now we will see what happens later. I'll add one more, which is, let's say number. I'll just add it in watch. I'll also add value in watch. So right now you can see all three, it says name error, which is fine. We'll see why it says that. Now coming to breakpoint, it's simple. There are these three breakpoints you'll always see. Like any raised exception you can capture and you can stop your script there. Any uncaught exceptions mean where there is some error which is not handled. And then user uncaught expressions are what, the errors which are created by user logic and they are not captured. And then there are two breakpoints which you created. It also says the line number. So line number 2, which is this, line number 7, which is this. Now you'll see here a debugger panel, in which you'll have few buttons, like this is continue. If I click on this, the script will normally work and it will wait, it will go forward until the next breakpoint. This is step over, where it will go through one step, and like that you have multiple options. This is restart and this is stop. Like when you do it, you will mostly know. So let's continue from here. So as soon as we continue, we can see it went inside the second breakpoint, which was second breakpoint. Now you can see the call stack has increased by 1 because now square has come into the call stack. And now you can see these watch have started taking values. Number equal 5 is true because now if you see in the local variables, we have a new variable known number. So in this state, because we have paused the debugger here, you can see number has some value and the expression becomes true. The number we can display, but value is still not there because I have still not executed value. So what we can do is we can do one step. So we can do a step over, and now you can see the value is there. So value has come into picture. Now if I do the next step, it comes out. So the function is executed, result is calculated, and the result has some value. And next step, and the script ends. So yeah, that's how a basic debugger works, and that's how you can debug your code better without writing those print statements everywhere.